Right at the top of the All right. Good morning, everybody. Today's Daf Lamed Gimel. We're going to start on the second line, second word.
Lamed Gimel Amud.
Third word. Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. Exactly.
Okay.
So we're really at the tail end of a certain sugya that was really kind of the second half of yesterday's blot. And if you recall, there was a case, it was kind of a brisa that we were discussing, where let's say a person walks into some sort of carpenter shop or whatever it is, and he ends up getting killed, right? The carpenter doesn't realize he's there, whatever it is, whatever the case is, and the guy gets killed. And maybe he did come in Rishos, maybe he didn't come in Rishos. These are different cases. But what we really need for today's daf, or the beginning part of today's daf, is it was a memra in that brisa that said, or a memra about that brisa, Amar Rav Yossi bar Chanina, Chayev v'dalad dvarim upater migalus. That when the brisa said Chayev and pater, it was referring to Chayev if the guy doesn't die, the nizik doesn't die. Chayev for the dalad dvarim, the nezik tzar, the riko shefes and boshes, and pater is galus. And we had a different way of understanding, again, depending on if that was referring to the resh of the brisa, the seif of the brisa. The Gemara today really picks up saying that memra of Rav Yossi was Reb Chanina of Chayev Dalad Dvarim and Pater Migalus is going on something entirely different. So that's where we're going to pick up again. Second line, third word on the line. Rav Zvid Mishmei Derava Mafni La'aha. He kind of learned that memra with respect to a different case entirely. The brisa says Umatza Pratlamamti et Asmo. So this is Parsha Shoftim, in the case of a person who is Chayev Galus, what the pasuk is talking about is a guy is chopping his axe in some sort of forest, and the iron part of the axe flies off and hits someone in the head. And the pasuk says umatza. It's like the axe finds the head, meaning the axe was the projectile and the guy was stationary. That's the case where you're Chayev Galus. But prat lamamti et atzmo. But that excludes the case where, let's say, the person was walking into the projectile. Maybe that's a case where you wouldn't be Chayev Galus. So again, Galus is where the projectile kind of meets the person, finds the person, not vice versa. Mikan.
When the beam stops, suddenly the guy runs into him and dies. He'd be the projectile. Since he's only moving, as opposed to the beam's not moving. So
exactly. So Mikan, Amar Rav ben Yaakov, Yado. Let's say a case kind of similar to the case from yesterday. So a guy, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's doing something at some stone, or maybe he just throws a stone, whatever it is. And the stone goes, but then the nizik, the guy who ends up getting damaged or killed in this case, he kind of sticks his head out of a window. So imagine a guy's chucking a stone for whatever reason he's chucking a stone.
Right.
And in theory, it should have hit nobody. But a guy sticks his head out the window, and then it hits his head. So the guy's putter from Gullus. Why? Because the point is the head kind of met the stone as opposed to the other way around. It's not the stone finding the head, it's the head finding the stone, and therefore the guy would be putter. It's on this that Amar Rav Yossi bar Chanina, and this is where Rav Yossi bar Chanina says halacha putter mi galus. In that case, where the guy sticks his head out the window, the guy who threw the stone is going to be putter from galus. But the chayev ba'arba dvarim, if the guy doesn't get killed, therefore he's only damaged, the stone thrower will be chayev the arba dvarim. And earlier in the Masechta we talked about, and maybe you all mentioned this yesterday, that the whole chayev of arba dvarim is dafka where the person wasn't a shogeg. Where a person does something with shogeg, you're never chayav the arba dvarim. And the point here is that is not shogeg. That's really shogeg carved lamezid. You chucking a stone, and not really looking where it's going. That's not a shogeg. So therefore, you're going to be chayav the dalad dvarim, but you're going to be patur from galus because of this halacha that the guy stuck his head out the window, and it's the head meeting the projectile as opposed to the other way around.
His head, was it outside his house or
outside the window? Yeah, I don't know exactly. Maybe a car? I don't know.
Why should he?
Either way, but
the guy throwing the stone was not aiming for anywhere. He just threw a stone.
But he
somebody walked into it.
Clearly, this was negligent.
He shouldn't throw it in certain areas. Maybe.
It's exactly right. Clearly, this is not recommended. Exactly. Either way, just one last postscript to the sugya before we move on. The Gemara says, just tying in this sugya to yesterday's sugya, if you believe that the stone thrower in our case is going to be chayev galus, chayev the dalad dvarim, not galus, Chai the Dalad Varm, because this is the case of Shogeg Karv Lamezid, then for sure in the case of the carpenter, where you're doing work and there was someone in your store and you knew someone was in your store, then for sure you're going to be Chai the Dalad Varm in that case. But Manda Masnila Kamaisa, but if you learn this memra on yesterday's brisa of the carpenter being Chai the Dalad Varm because someone was in a store, Avalaha Patra Lagamri. But maybe in our case, you can say that throwing a stone, not thinking anyone was there, is less mazid than yesterday's stuff. So it sounds like being a carpenter, you should know people are in your store, you're doing something dangerous. That is more negligent than throwing a stone where really no one should be. That would be more karv lamezid than this case. Okay, moving on to an entirely new sugya. Tana Rabbana, holim shabo litzvo askaron mibala bias. Let's say you've got people that are owed money. They go to the balabayas. These are employees. They go to the employer to get paid. V'nagchan shoro shabalabayas or v'nashkan kalbo shabalabayas umeis pater. And then the guy, the employer's dog or his ox, goes and attacks this person who's just coming to get paid. Pater, and the Bach adds in pater mikofer, right? So the point is, the ox is still going to get killed. This we saw earlier in the Masechta. Anytime an ox kills a person, he's going to get killed. But the Baal Hashar is going to be pater from kofer in this case. Acherim omrim, acherim say.
Now, this case, is it with a dog now?
It can either be a dog or a shar. It's choose your own adventure.
Well, okay. Is the dog tied up? Is he on a leash?
These are good questions, not tied up well enough because he killed someone.
Oh, then he's at fault.
Well,
His house. It's his house.
exactly. Those are the two sides, right? Some guy walked in kind of unannounced.
There's a sign that says warning dog.
Exactly. So Jack is going with the Tanakama. Jack is like, absolutely not. The Acherim say, sorry. Jack is going with the Acherim. The Acherim are saying, no, these guys have permission to be there. They're trying to get paid. So therefore, you got to watch your animal, whatever it is. But the Tanakama says, you walked in unannounced, putter from kofer. So Hechidami, the Gemara is saying, like we're all thinking, what exactly is this case? If the employer, comes to shul every day, and you don't have to, go over to him in his house, so that my time at acherim, right? So why would you ever say that that the guy should be chayiv? The bottom line is, don't come to his house where he has his dogs. Just meet him in shul and be like, you owe me money. If he's only shliach in his house, so then my time at Tanakama, like then these people didn't have a choice. They had to come to the house to get paid. So if they have to come to the house, so watch your dog. I don't know. So the Gemara says, the reality is you don't really know where he's going to be. Sometimes he's home, sometimes he's not home. He's unpredictable. We curry up because I guess
if you have the ability to collect money from wherever he's at.
Well, the point is they don't know where he's going, and he doesn't. He's not predictably anywhere. So he's predictably in his house.
I'm saying even if you know he's in shul most of the time, why is it still a problem to then go collect at his house when he's actually home?
Well, make sure that you're invited, I guess is the point. Don't just show up unannounced.
And then get
Either way, you don't really know where he's going to be. Vikari Ababa, so they came up to the doorstep. But Amar Lahu in, and the guy said, "Yes, in." So Marsav are in old Hamashma. The Acherim, the second people of the Brisa, they say that in probably means come in. So he kind of invited them in. Umarsav are in Kumadachtech Mashma, and the Tanakama says that in means stay put, stay exactly where you are. I'll come meet you outside. So therefore, that explains the machlokas. Right? If you say that in means stay where you are, so if you come in, that's on you. But if you say in means come in, then you were invited to come in. You can't sick your dog on these guys now. And the Gemara says, Tanya, Commander Amar, in Kumadachtech Mashma. We actually have a brisa that supports the what's it called? The translation, I guess, of in meaning stay where you are, because the Tanya, we have a brisa similar to this brisa we just brought earlier. You have a worker who's coming to collect his payment from the balabais. And either the shar gores him or some dog bites him, kills him. Putter, you're going to be putter from kofer. But this brisa adds the words, even though the guy came in with rishus. So now this is very hard to understand. Am I putter? If the guy came in with rishus, so why in the world would he be putter? Elalab, the Karyababa, must be this case where he was standing at the doorstep. The Amar in, and the Balavai said in. In is kumadach mashma. And shmam, that in doesn't mean come in. In just means stay where you are. Why does it mean he had rishus? The guy obviously thought he had rishus. He heard in, but Kamash Malan, that in doesn't mean you have Rosh to come in. In just means stay where you are. I'm acknowledging your presence. I will come out and we will handle our business outside.
It's actually Israel now, they knock on something which says Cain. I would just wait.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Cain and Israel needs to come in.
Oh,
So that would say, how they come in?
That in the book.
all right. New Mishnah, and unfortunately, from here to the rest of the daf is a little bit of math. It's a fair question. It's a fair question. Yeah, I don't know.
What was that?
I guess he has more of a right, if he's coming to collect money. You're right. It's possible they're just trying to give a case that,
Well, if the guy's trying to collect money, it can be different between you, taking that either close to just randomly being there.
yeah,
Maybe the point is that the guy is expected.
maybe. Yeah, good point. All right. So the Mishnah says, right, and just, remember, a shar muad pays nezek shalem me'aliyah, a shar tam pays chati nezek, and it's capped at migufo. So not only does a tam pay chati nezek, but the chati nezek itself is capped at the value of the shar hamazik. All right. Shnei shvarin tamin shechavlu zeh. Let's say you have two shar tams and they damage each other. So let's say they're both equally at fault, right? So how do we work this out? So mishalim and most are nezek shalom, chati nezek. You gotta at the end of the day, someone's got to damage up, someone's got to total up all the damages, and whichever one ultimately ends up owing the other one, they then pay that amount b'chati nezek.
They both have 2 out of 3, or
They both have
short. When it
They're
goes
both short times.
I know, but which level of short time? The ones who scored 3 times.
Well, then you're a mu'ah.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it was the first time, the second time, the third time. They're all 4 times. Shneihan mu'adim. Let's say both of these shars were mu'ads. Same idea. Mishalim and most are nezek shalom. You got to see which one. So this one did $100 of damage. This one did $40 of damage. So the one who did $100 of damage is going to pay the $60. Echad tam ve'echad mu'ad. What if one is a tam and one is a mu'ad? So mu'ad b'tam mishalim most are nezek shalom. If the mu'ad did more damage, it pays the damage b'nezek shalom. Tam b'mu'ad mishalim b'mos chati nezek. So you just got to figure out whichever one did more damage. If it's a short tam, it's going to pay that chati nezek, and if it's short muad, it's going to do nezek shalom. V'chein shnei anashim shechavlu zeh b'zeh. And that's why you have two men, 2 people that are fighting. Same idea. An adam pays nezek shalom, so mishalim and b'mos are nezek shalom. Adam b'muad b'adam. Let's say a man gets into it with an ox. So if it was a shar muad, so mishalim b'mos are nezek shalom. Whichever one did more damage, you're going to end up paying nezek shalom. Adam b'tam. Let's say it was an adam b'tam. B'tam ba'adam. So adam b'tam. Let's say the adam did more damage than the tam. Mishalim was nezek shalim. Tam ba'adam. Mishalim was chati nezek. But this is all the time. Kama Rabbi Akiva Omer ap tam shechavel ba'adam. Mishalim was nezek shalim. Rabbi Akiva has a unique shita that we're going to see in the Gemara right now. That any time even a tam damages an adam, you always pay nezek shalim. So unlike by an animal, when a tam damages an animal, it's chati nezek. When a tam damages an adam, you go straight to nezek shalom. Okay. So
What I think is unfair here is,
Yes.
let's say he, a Tom,
yeah.
he grabs an item, and you lose it.
Yep.
He should, and the owner of the Tom is responsible. Why doesn't he pay 100%?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Because
What?
It's a good question.
Not a drug that we have to look out for
Exactly.
until he proves that this is
All right.
the damage.
So Tana Rabbana, Mishpat Hazeh Ye'aselo. So this is in the context. This is all in the psukim of Parshas Mishpatim. So this is talking about animal damaging an adam, and what it says is Mishpat Hazeh Ye'aselo. What does that mean? What's Mishpat Hazeh? It's Mishpat Shor B'Shor, Kach Mishpat Shor Ba'Adam. So if you look in the Psukim of Mishpatim, there's a few Psukim of animals damaging people, and then there's Psukim of animals damaging animals. And what the Gemara is saying, what this Bryce is saying, is in the same way, because Mishpat Hazeh, there's some sort of comparison between Shor B'Shor to Shor Ba'Adam. Ma Shor B'Shor, Tam Mishalim Chati Nezek Umuad Nezek Shalim. Shor Ba'Adam, Tam Mishalim Chati Nezek Umuad Nezek Shalim. That's the Tanakam of this Brisa says that in the same way that a shar tam pays Chati Nezek when it damages a shar, it's also going to pay Chati Nezek when it damages an Adam. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva disagrees, and he says Mishpat Hazeh Kitachton v'lo ke'elyon. Mishpat hazeh is even more exclusionary, right? It's saying this. It's not just like this concept. The concept of a shar damaging a shar. It's this specific pasuk, right? And if you look in the psukim of a shar damaging a shar, the first pasuk deals with a shar tam. This is in Parak Chaf Aleph. It's like psukim like lamed, if you're curious. The first pasuk is a shar damaging, a shar tam damaging, and the second pasuk is a shar mua damaging. And Rabbi Kiva says when it says mishpat hazeh, it means kitachton v'lo ke'elyon. It's specifically the second pasuk and not the first pasuk, meaning mishpat hazeh. Whenever a shar damages an adam, it's like a shar mua. It's like the second pasuk. That's mishpat hazeh. So therefore, Rabbi Kiva says that any time a shar damages a person, even if it's a shar tam, it's always going to pay nezek shalom. So the Gemara says that that's true. Yachol Mashalim min Aliyah. You would think that just like a shar tam pays as a shalim from the get-go, maybe it should also pay mina Aliyah and not mikufo. Talmud lomar yasalo mikufo Mashalim ve'enu Mashalim min Aliyah. Talmud lomar. There's another word in the pasuk that says yasalo that to teach us that even though a shar tam, when it damages a person, it pays nezek shalim, it still is capped at mikufo. So Rabbanan zeh lamali, what do the Rabbanan do with this word zeh? Right, Rabbi Kiva had his whole lima from Kimishpat has zeh. So what do the Rabbanan do with zeh? They say lepotro me arba dvarim. They say that when a shar damages an adam, the shar doesn't pay the tzar ripui sheves and boshes like an adam pays. Rabbi Akiva lepotro me arba dvarim minale. So how does Rabbi Akiva learn that a shar is pater from paying the dalat dvarim? Nafkale me ish kitemum ba'amiso. Ish ba'amiso v'lo shar ba'amiso. He has a different limud. He says in the psukim of the Daled Dvarim alone, it's clear that it's only talking about an Adam Amazik and not a Shar Amazik. And if you recall, this is something that the Gemara spoke about earlier in our Masechta. The Rabbanan, and the Rabbanan say, I hear you, but if I only had that limud of Ish ba'amiso v'lo shar ba'amiso, I would say, Imeahi hava minat tsar l'chudei aval ripoi v'sheves emalitein le kamash mulan. The Rabbanan say, if I only had that one limud, I would think that limud is limited to tsar and Tosos adds and boshes, but not necessarily ripui and sheves. Therefore, I need two limudim. I need ish ba'amiso v'lo shar ba'amiso. I also need the word zeh to teach me that a shar is pater all of the daled dvarim. What is the chiluk between why would the Rabbanan say that I only had one? I would think it was ripui and sheves and not tsar and boshes. So Rashi speaks out because there's a fundamental difference between those two of the arba dvarim. When it comes to ripui and when it comes to sheves, these are doctor bills. These are, money that I'm out of work or something like that. I'm out of pocket. So therefore, it makes sense that even a shar should have to pay those amounts. Mm-hmm. You compare that to tsar, or you compare that to boshes. These are not items where I'm out of pocket. These are things where there's anguish or stuff like that. So you would think maybe that's something that's dafka when autumn damages. That's when you have to pay those things. When a shar damages, maybe you only have to pay the out-of-pocket expenses. You don't necessarily have to pay for the tsar, for the boshes, and things like that. Okay, next Mishnah. Shar shave mana. Shanagach shar shave masan. Let's say you have a shar tam that's worth 100, and it damages a shar
that's worth
200. And therefore, how much are you going to owe? 100. The ain't an avail yafaklum, no to also shar. And we're saying that avail is not worth anything, and therefore, what do you owe? 100. What is your shar worth? 100. Therefore, the nizik can just take your shar. That's what happens. The nizik just takes your shar. So the Gemara says, Masnis and Mani Rabbi Akiva. This Mishnah appears to reflect the view of Rabbi Akiva, Titania, Yusham Hashar. Brisa says that when you have a situation of a shar tam, you got to appraise the shar, the bezdin. Divrei Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says you appraise the shar in bezdin. Bezdin says you owe $100, and then you go and you pay $100. Rabbi Akiva Amar Huchlat Hashar. He says no, you just give over the shar, right? What exactly are they arguing about? Rabbi Shmuel Savar.
Why isn't the carcass worth anything?
The Mishnah says the carcass is worth 0. You're absolutely right. The Mishnah is just making a mechanical right, just to make the math easier.
It's just okay.
But in a chanam, you would have to value the carcass. Rabbi Shmuel Savar Baal Chov, who Rabbi Shmuel says that fundamentally, how do you view a shar tam? It's like a Baal Chov. The mazik is like a Baal Chov. The Zuzi who's a mazik, he just owes him money. Right? Meaning the nizik can't just take my shor. What if I want my shor? I owe you $100 and I'll pay you $100. Rabbi Akiva Savar, shutfin nenu. He says, no, you become shutfin in the shar. That's how it works. The nizik and the mazik now jointly own the shar. Mm-hmm. And if the money works out, that the shar is only worth 100 and you owe me 100, so the nizik takes the shar. That's how it works.
How do they know it's worth 100?
They got to appraise it somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah,
you take it to some auctioneer.
Appraisers.
Yeah, that's what they have to do back then. I'm sure even now, I'm sure people have an understanding of what shars are worth. The Kamifli Bahaikran, they argue in how you darshan and how you understand this this pasuk. The pasuk says by a shar tam umakru is a shar achai v'chatu es kaspo, and you sell the shar and you split it. Rabbi Shmuel savar lebeidina kamaz rachmana. The Torah is referring to Bezdin. Bezdin, you got to value this shar and tell the mazik what he owes. Rabbi Kiva savar the nizik of mazik mazik rachmana. No, the pasuk is talking to the nizik of the mazik. You guys are no shukman in the shar, so go sell the shar. And then, or if it doesn't make sense to tell the shar because what you owe is the value of the shar, let the nizik just keep the shar. My beinayu, what is the practical nafkamina between these? Tosos, by the way, points out there's like a lot of nafkaminas, but we're just focusing on one for the moment. The nafkamina could be hikdisho nizik ikabenayu. What if the nizik goes ahead and is makdish this animal? Lefishi just Rabbi Yishmael, that would be totally meaningless. You don't own this animal; it's the mazik's animal. He just owes you money.
I agree.
So if I go over and I makdish John's something, that is meaningless. You don't have to do anything. John's iguana, there's the whole, but Lefi Shitas Rabbi Akiva, because me and John would be partners in his iguana, if I were to be makdish his iguana, something would happen. We'd have to figure out what, but clearly there would be some sort of chalos to that hektish, and we'd have to figure out what to do. Okay. Baimene Rabba mir Rav Nachman. So Rabba asks Rav Nachman a shaila. He says, Machro Mazik, Rabbi Yishmael Mahu. What happens in Rabbi Yishmael's world where this animal fully belongs to the Mazik? And Rabbi Yishmael the Mazik owes the Nizik money. What happens if the Mazik goes out and he sells the animal? He sells the animal. So you say, Bal Chovhu, Bezuzihu de Mazik le Machar. Can he say, listen, I owed you money. I just sold one of my possessions. That's fine. Why can't I sell my possession? Sale's a good sale. The guy owes my shar, and I gotta pay you money. Oh, Dilma, or maybe you'll say, Kavan, the Mishabed Lenizik Lav calls or maybe you say, no. The bottom line is everyone's gonna agree. Top Rashi on the page, everyone is gonna agree that if I can't come up with the money, the Nizik can just take the animal. So clearly he has some sort of shibud on this animal. So maybe that's enough of a shibud that even the fear of Yishmael, I shouldn't be able to sell the animal. That if I sell the animal, the sale won't be a good sale. That is the kasha that Rava asked Rav Nachman. If Yishitas Rabbi Yishmael, can he sell the animal or can he not sell the animal? So Amarle,
they can't.
no, not because they're shukman. That would be Rabbi Akiva. This is all within Shitas Rabbi Yishmael. But clearly, even Rabbi Yishmael is going to have to acknowledge that there is some sort of shibud that the nizik has on this animal. So Amarle, so Rav Nachman answers back to Rava, Eino macher. It would not be an effective sale. It would not be a good sale.
He only has it if it's equivalent to damage to the worth of the.
Yeah, you're right. Rava says back to Rav Nachman Vatad, but we have a brisa that we're actually going to see later in the stop, Machru Macher, that if he does sell the animal, it is a good sale. So how can you tell me it's not a good sale? We have a brisa that says it is a good sale. So Rav Nachman says back, but Choser Bergovo. But even within that brisa, the reality is that the nizik can now go and collect the shar from the buyer. So fine, it's a good sale, but the nizik can always go get it from the lokeach. So the Gemara says, why would the sale be an effective sale if the nizik can just go and get it straight from the lokeach? So the Gemara says, no, because let's play this thing out. The mazik owes someone money. The mazik sells the animal, right? It takes a few weeks to work through the insurance and all that kind of stuff, right? So it takes a few weeks. Now the nizik is going to come collect the animal from the lokeach. In the meantime, in the 2-3 weeks, the lokeach was using the animal to plow his field. There was value that the lokeach was getting. So the question is, can the nizik now go to the lokeach and say, not only do I want your animal, the $100 that you got from plowing your lawn, I want you to pay me for that. That was my animal that you used. That he can't do. The sale is effective in the sense that the lokeach is able, he can keep whatever value he got out of this animal. So he's going to lose the animal, but he gets to keep whatever value. Now, he might also go to the person who sold him the animal and say, I want my money back. He might, we'll have to work that out. But that's what we mean when we say the sale was effective. The buyer was able to use the animal for the week or two that he had of plowing. Okay. But what did we just say? We just said a halacha that a mazik, Rabbi Yishmael, who owes money, that's all he owes. It's like a Baal Chov. He just owes money. If he sells his shar to someone else, the nizik can come and take the shar away from the lokach. That is a massive chiddush. Right? This is not real estate, where we have that concept in real estate. This is metalplin, this is the shar. And yet we're saying that even though the mazik sold the shar, still the nizik can go collect it. So the Gemara says, Shma mina that lava umocher metalpelin bezin gobalomayhem. Are you really going to tell me is this a chiddush that we can learn that when a lova sells metalpelin, the bezin can go and collect the metalpelin from the lokach? The Gemara says no. Don't extrapolate this any further. Shiny hasam the commander. So apotski dami. Again, we said in our case it's a little bit different. There's a shibud that the nizik has on this animal. The amarava asa abdo apotki machro bezin balchov gova emenu. But shoro apotki machro ein balchov gova emenu. But we said even if you have a shibud, we know we have a klal that Rava says that when you have an apotiki on an eved, that's where the balchov can, that's where bezin can take it from the guy, but not metalpelin, not a shar. So even if there's a shibud on the shar, why does that help? The Gemara answers that this case is even stronger than a regular case of an apotiki. Eved, my time. Why do we say that when it comes to an eved, if there was an apotiki on the eved, you can take it from a lokeach? Mishum de islay kala, because whenever there's an eved, there's a call that there was a shibud placed on this eved. There was an apotiki on this eved. Hainami came in the nagach. Once this animal gores, kala islay, there's a call. The Torah nakana karule. I guess whenever an animal gores, it kind of its name, like people in the community know it as like a goring shar, and therefore everyone knows that this shar there was a shibud to the nizik, and therefore the lokach was kind of an idiot for buying it. So therefore he kind of loses the animal. Okay. Tani Rav Tachlifa Bar Marava Kmed Rav Avo. So Rav Tachlifa Bar Marava teaches a certain brisa to Rav Avo. He says machru ein mach. In this case, where the mazik sells the animal, it's not effective, not a good sale. Notwithstanding, hektish or mukdash. If the guy if he makes it hektish, then the hektish is going to be schal. So this is clearly some sort. You got to understand. On the one hand, we said it's not going to be a good sale, but it is going to be a good hektish. So the Gemara is going to try to understand this. Machro, who sold this? Was it the mazik or the nizik? Ilema mazik. Maybe you'll tell me, right? It was the mazik that tried to sell it, and machro ein macher, and the sale is not effective. Mani Rabbi Akiva. This must be Rabbi Akiva, who says that the mazik and the nizik are shukman, and therefore the mocher can go and sell this. It's not his to sell, right? Damar huklat ashar. But how do you understand the next line? Vikdisho mukdash. But then, if you're makdish it, the hektish is chal. Asan Rabbi Yishmael. That sounds like it's Rabbi Yishmael who says that it totally belongs to the mazik. Damar Yishum ashar, the bezdin. Ella, so maybe learn the other way. Ella nizik. Maybe this is all the nizik, and that's how we understand the hektish. But again, how are you going to understand this? Machru eino macher, right? It says that the sale is not effective. Money Rabbi Yishmael. That must mean Rabbi Yishmael. That's why the nizik can't sell this animal, because it's not the nizik to sell. But akdishu mukdash asal Rabbi Akiva. We have the same problem. The bottom line is we have some sort of theora, right? Why is it that you can't sell it, but you can be makdish it? Is this Rabbi Akiva or is this Rabbi Yishmael? Like, what's going on over here? So the Gemara says, "La'ola mazik." Really, this is the mazik. But very call. We can make this all work. Macher ein macher. Afil Rabbi Yishmael. On the one hand, the mazik is not allowed to sell it, even the fee Rabbi Yishmael to hamashad leila nizik, because like we said in the beginning of the top, there is some sort of shibud on this animal, and therefore even Rabbi Yishmael will acknowledge that the mocher can't sell it. But ekdisho mukdash. But if you try to be makdish it will be hektish. Afila Rabbi Akiva. Even Rabbi Akiva, who says that the mazik and the nizik are shukman in this animal, even Rabbi Akiva will acknowledge that when the mocher goes on his own and he's makdish this animal, the hektish is going to be chal. Why? We shouldn't Rav Avo, because of this halacha that Rav Avo once taught. Rav Avo, Yomru, hektish yotze below pidyon. And Rashi says this is really a sugya in erachin, and the case is, let's say a person has some sort of property and it is meshubah to a baal chov or to subas isha, and he's makdish it. He wasn't supposed to do that. He was not supposed to be makdish this thing that had a shiba to other people. So the reality is the baal chov can go and just take it, right? But we don't want the innocent bystander, onlooker, to see he knows that I was makdish something. I made a big deal about it by my mishaberach and shul that I was going to be makdish this thing. We don't want anyone to see that it wasn't actually hektish, right? And people are going to think that you can be makdish something and then it can be yotze hektish without any sort of pidyon. So we kind of ask this person to make a show of at least being poded with some small amount of money. Do something to show everyone that you're not just removing it from hektish without any sort of money. So that's the same thing over here. You're right. Clear. Even Rabbi Akiva will say the mochar had no the mazik, had no ability to be makdish this thing. It wasn't his to do. Nonetheless, we ask him to do some small pidyon so that the bystanders will realize that you can't just be makdish something and then remove it from hektish without any sort of pidyon. Okay, Tana Rabbana. Shar tam shehizik. Let's say you have a shar tam that damages. Ashlama badin prior to the hamada badin macharu machar. If the mazik goes and he sells it, it's going to be effective. Hiktisho mukdash. It's going to be effective if you're makdash it. Shachto v'nas matana. Let's say you shech the animal or you give it away as a matana. Masha asa astoi. It's going to be effective. Mara's going to explain all this. Misha amad badin. Once there's a hamada badin, then already machar no machar. Even the mazik, if you sell it, it's not going to work. Hiktisho ain't a mukdash, it's not going to be effective. Shachto v'nasu matana lo asa below klum. You shecht it. V'nasu matana lo asa below klum. Again, we'll have to understand what that means. Kadmu balei chovos. What if you have other balei chovos and they come the higbio and they just grab this shark? Bein chavash lo hizik, bein hizik achlo chav. It doesn't matter what came first, the damage or the loan. Lo asa below klum. We basically say to the balei chov, you got to give it back. Because the nizik gets his thing mikufo, therefore he has a shibud. Muad shehizik. But let's say contrast this to a muad animal that damages. Bein shama badin, bein shalom badin. Regardless of whether we are already post the hamada badin or prior to the hamada badin, machar o machar, the mazik can sell it. Hiktishu mukdash, he can be makash it. Shachta v'res matana maflata asoi. Kadmu balei chobos ve'igbiyu. If the balei chobos come and they collect it, bein chavash lo hizik, bein hizik achlo chav, ma'asha asa asoi. The balei chob can keep it. Lefi she'em mishalim ela minali. Really, what the Bryce is saying is, when it comes to a shart tam, this mishalim megufo, so then again the nizik has a shibud on the animal. When it comes to a shar muad, and there everyone agrees that the guy just pays cash, so therefore we don't really care what happens to the animal. Your claim with the mazik is cash, and therefore he's going to have to pay you cash. So Amar Mar, let's appreciate, let's go through this price a little bit carefully. Amar Mar, macharu machar. What do we mean when we say that prior to the Amad Badin with the shar tam, the guy is able to sell it? This is like what we said earlier on, notwithstanding the fact that the nizik ultimately can take the animal from the lokach, but the lokach can keep whatever value he was able to extract from the shar while he owned it. Hiktisho mukdash, what does it mean that the animal is hektish? This halacha that we just learned a few lines ago, the Ravo. We're going to force the mocher to do some sort of pidyon so that no one should see something being hektish and then leaving hektish without any sort of pidyon. Then we said that if you shech the animal or if you give it away as a matana, masha asa atri. So the Gemara says bishlam enough matana, masha asa atri the radya. Bishlam, I can understand that if you give it away as a matana, and then the lokeach comes and he takes it from the makavel matana, right. The makavel matana can at least keep it for whatever value he receives. Ella shachtu. But if you shech the animal, leisei v'lishtalim basrei. Like, I don't understand. So the animal's still here. So just give him the carcass. It still has value. So what does the Gemara mean when it says Masha? Just let the mazik give the nizik the carcass. Titania chai. The pasuk says machar was the shara chai. Ainli ella chai. I know that the mazik has to give the nizik the living animal. Shachtu min. How do I know that you could even give him a shechted animal? Talmud lomar u'machru es hashar mikal makom. The pasuk says that you can sell the shar mikal makom.
So the nizik got it.
Exactly.
Did somebody? Did he sell to somebody else?
Not in this case. He just shut it.
No. Oh.
He just shut it. So again, what do we mean when we say Masha Asa Asa?
That guy.
Exactly. If you shechted it, so just give the carcass. Now, there's still a lot of value with a shechted animal. Give the carcass to the nizik. So Amrav Shizbi lo nitzrach al pachashkita. All it means to say is, let's say you had this animal that was worth 100, and you owed him 100. You owed him the animal. Now, if I shecht it, it might only be worth 75. When it was alive, I could have used it to plow before I shechted it. Now that I shechted it, it's only worth 75. I still am limited to giving him $75. I'm limited to mikufo. That's all I know. I can unilaterally damage or shecht this animal, and I really mess up the nizik. The nizik was owed 100. Right. He was supposed to get 100. I shecht the animal, and now he's
Seems crooked to me.
Seems crooked. So what does the Gemara say? Amar Rav Huna B'Rei Rav Yeshua Zos Omeres. Right? What do we see from here? Zos Omeres Hamazik Shibudo Shel Chavero Pater. If I am mishabi to someone, I owe him my field for whatever reason, right? I owe him my field. Can I now damage my field before I give it to him? Sounds like I can. I just did that to my animal, right? And the Gemara says, what do you even? The Gemara says, I don't even understand the Chiddush. Pizza. That is literally what we just said. Of course, it's what you can do. If you owe someone a field, and that's all you have to pay him, so it's you can go and start digging holes in the field and then give it to him.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
So the Gemara says
No.
it was a Chiddush. Ma'u desema hasam hu da'amar le lo chasar ticha v'lo midi. Maybe in the animal case, I can say, listen, the bottom line is, I didn't damage you in any way. What did I do already? I shechted the animal. I just took the wind out of the animal. Same exact animal, right? He's just missing life. Other than that, same exact animal. Maybe that's where I can do it. Abba ba'alma, but in a case of a field, l'chayev. So kamash malan, there's the same way. I can do this for an animal. I can also do this for the field. But the Gemara says, Hanami Rabba Amar. I don't even think that's a chiddush because Rabba said this somewhere else. We'll see this at the end of our Masechta. Amar Rabba Hasorev Shtarosov Shel Chavero Pater. Rabba said a very similar halacha. If a guy's got shtaros and I go and I burn his shtaros, I'm pater with the same idea. What did I do already? All I did was I burned your pieces of paper. So the Gemara says, no, even though I had Rabba's chiddush, I still needed this chiddush. Again, all I did was I burned some paper. What's paper worth? Paper's worth a penny. Where I literally dig in your field and do physical damage, that's something else. And Kamash Malan, that our case of the animal is more similar to the case of digging, pits in a field. We'll just do one more Gemara so we can get to the two dots. Kadmu, so this is the end of the Brisa. There already was a Hamad Badin. Kadmu Bale Chovos. So let's say Baal Chovos come, they gbiu, and they collect this animal. Bein Chavat Shelo Hizik and Hizik Ashelo Chav. We don't really care which one came first, the damage or the Baal Chov. Lo Asa V'lo Klum. We basically tell the Baal Chov, give the animal back to the Nizik, because he only collects Migufo. So Bishlama, Hizik Ashelo Chav, I could understand this halacha if the damage came first, because as he can kadmu. But if the loan came first, why can the Baal Chov say, listen, I came first. I should be able to get this animal. Right. And then the Gemara says, forget that. Even if the damage happened prior to the Baal Chov kadim. The bottom line, the Baal Chov came, he took the initiative, and he grabbed the animal. So Shema Minash, I learned from here that Baal Chov Me'ucher, that if a Baal Chov came second and Shekadim V'Gava, Mashagava Lo Gava, if he comes and he collects metalpalin, he's not allowed to do that? Whoever heard of such a thing? If he's owed money, right, let him come and take his money. Doesn't matter who came first. The Gemara says Lo. In a regular case, you'd be absolutely right. The Baal Chov can come and collect his money. Shiny Hasam, this case is different. This is a wild claim. The Shiny Hasam, the Amar Le, Ilu Gabach, this is the Nizik talking to the Baal Chov. He's saying, listen, I get this animal. I have first on this animal. Why? Because Ilu Gabachava, if you had collected this animal prior to it damaging me, right, and then your animal damaged me, right, because you would have collected this animal that ultimately damaged me, Lo Minach Hava Gabele, wouldn't I be collecting this animal from you? Because this is I'm collecting the animal. So if you collected this animal and then it damaged me, I would be collecting this animal from you. So I should be able to get this animal. Tosfos points out, top Tosfos on the page, this is like a wild claim. Like, yeah, if that happened,
you want that animal that damaged.
Like if that happened, your claim would be with that guy. So Tosfos basically says, essentially what he's saying is what we've been saying all along, which is clearly the Nizik is a real shibud on the animal, more so than the Baal Chov. The Baal Chov, the guy owes you money, right? The Lova, sorry. The Baal Chov owes you money. So you're collecting your Chov from an animal. That's fundamentally different to the Nizik's claim. The Nizik is saying, no, I'm owed from this animal. This is the animal that damaged me. The Torah says I'm paid mikufo, and I have a stronger claim than you to the animal. So regardless of whether your chov happened first, or even if you just go and grab it, I have first dibs on the animal because I have a proper shibud on the animal itself. And we'll pick it up from here tomorrow.